Hi, you guys, Sarah here. Today I wanted to do a little bit different of a video. I wanted to just share with you something real life because this journey to really healing your emotional wounds from the past, from the unhealthy relationship with the narcissist and all of the toxic traits and ways that your own brain and mind are impacted in your life, right? The way that you start to gaslight yourself, the way that you stuff and bottle your feelings, the way that you swing the pendulum to this other side of becoming so hyper independent and so ultra independent and think, I don't need anyone, I don't need anything, because you're now scared to trust and let anyone else in. And the way that you just wear your own mask, right? What I call the F me, the fake me, the fraud me, and you pretend like everything is fine on the outside when really it feels like you're dying on the inside and you're just sitting in your own shame and suffering. And then the P me and all those we talk about in my masterclass. I invite you to the free training that I have that highlights exactly what we go into healing, especially when we're working together in the container of that program, transforming past pain to present power. And the way that you reflect on things from your past. And had an experience with that recently. Today is Spirit Day at my daughter's school, and she goes to school where they have to wear uniforms. And for Spirit Day, they get to wear their Spirit Day shirt. And the fun and exciting thing is they get to wear their own shoes and fun socks. Otherwise, they have to wear black socks, black shoes. So she's super excited. We go to the store yesterday and we passed by socks. And I said, hey, look, honey, you can pick out some socks. Tomorrow's Spirit Day. What socks do you like? And so she's looking at the socks and, oh, I like these. And last time we got unicorn socks. And so I want different socks this time. And I said, all right, well, they're all there. Which ones do you like? And she ended up choosing really cute socks. They were, was it a beaver? I think it was a beaver. I'm trying to think. The little beaver. And it's no, sorry, not a beaver, an otter. That's what it was. It was not a beaver. I'm like, it looked like a beaver. It was an otter. And it was cute little otter. It's lying on its back and it's got a little hand up like this. And it's so cute. It's floating, it's got its hand up. And I'm like, okay, those are really cute. The little otter socks, let's get those, let's go. And so she does, and we do. And this morning, as she's putting them on, she says, Mommy, what do they say on the bottom of them? Because on the bottom of the sole of the foot said something. And she's learning to read, not quite there yet. But it says, hello from the otter side. And I'm like, that's so cute. Hello from the otter side. And I was telling her as we're driving to school, oh my gosh, that reminds me of this song. Hello, because she said, what does that mean? And I said, well, it means it's kind of cute, it's funny. It's actually from a song, Hello from the Other Side, from Adele. And she said, who's Adele and what's that song? And so she knows that we can play songs through the car as we're driving, right? The beautiful power of Bluetooth and streaming. So I pull up Hello from the Other Side, and this song used to be a massive, massive trigger for me. And the reason why this song was such a trigger was because of the narcissist, the malignant narcissist who happens to be her father, and an experience that we had while we were together. And that this happened on multiple occasions, but this was one in particular. Yes, isn't it crazy that when you're with a narcissist, you don't learn the first time? And there's reasons for that that we're not going to get into in this video, but Hello from the Other Side, the song by Adele, was a massive trigger for me. An overwhelming trigger was one of the triggers that led to me wanting to take my life uh, from having been with him. And the reason is we were in San Diego, we were in California for the weekend, right? Love bombing, right? He paid for this really nice hotel, $500 a night or whatever it was, and tons of alcohol, tons of wine, tons of restaurants, dining, going out to eat. Obviously, tons of arguing, tons of fake marriage proposals on the beach, getting down on one knee and singing that Bruno Mars song, Hey baby, I think I want to marry you. And me just crying, oh my gosh, and just kidding. I would never marry you. And just the complete mind, you know what, when you're with them. So that trip ends in an explosive argument, and he's got buddies, right? Got buddies everywhere, and buddies in San Diego. So we go to the airport, and he has our boarding passes on his phone. we're standing there, we're waiting to board this plane, and it's, I don't know, we take a later flight because it's a Sunday night and I have to work the next morning on Monday morning. And I was working in Utah at the time. And so we're in California and he says, "Hey, I'll be right back." And I'm like, cool, right? So I don't have my boarding pass, it's on his phone, but we are checked in, we're past TSA. Our all of our luggage and stuff is on the plane, like we're ready to go. And he says, "Hey, I'll come back." And he never comes back. He left. I didn't know that at the time, but he went to the bar and got blackout drunk, which was very, very common. And so they're calling, right? Last boarding for flight, da da da. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I'm calling it and calling and calling his phone, and he's not answering. And I am freaking out. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. We need to get on this plane. We need to go so that we can go home so that I can go to bed and go to work the next morning. I'm in fear of losing my job. And in my head, just what's going to happen? All these horrible, horrible things are going to happen. And he doesn't show up. And I call and he turns his phone off for hours. So I do what I need to do. I know I need to get home. So I leave, right? The plane took off, plane's gone. And I go down to the place where you can rent a car. I get a car. This after calling my mom, crying, bawling, and she's like, "You need to get home." Just and I'm like, "I don't have the money to pay for a rental car. It's gonna cost, $5,000," and it wasn't that much, but it was when you're in a heightened emotional state, you're desperate, right? And so my mom said, "I will pay for it. You just need to get home and you need to leave this guy." I didn't listen to her until much later, but so I go and I get in the car and I start driving. It's a 11, 12 hour drive and it's already late at night. I literally drive through the night. I made it to work the next morning late and exhausted, like literally falling asleep at my desk. And this is a new job that I had just gotten, and I was still in like my first 2 weeks of training, and I'm sitting there with the person who's training me. Like literally, I didn't have the right clothes for work, right? So I had to like wear what I was wearing the day before, and flip-flops to work. I mean, and this is a corporate setting, corporate office. I'm like literally in the same clothes and flip-flops, a hot mess, having drove through the night. And after hours and hours of like driving and calling the narcissist, just desperate, crying, ugly crying, like my eyes looked like lips. They were so pink and so red and so swollen. And I was just an emotional train wreck. The narcissist went to one of his buddies' houses and ended up crashing there on the couch, having that buddy come to the airport, pick him up. And he stayed the night and he ended up catching a flight back home the next night while I drove through the night from San Diego, California to Salt Lake City. And I know that you have a million stories like this as well, but I'm calling and calling and calling his phone. It's turned off. He's not answering. And then I get a text message. That's just the link to this song. Hello from the Other Side, the Adele song. And so, right, we do what we do in our state of desperation. I listen to the song and I'm crying and I'm driving and I'm calling him because clearly his phone's turned back on. Oh my gosh, you're going to answer. And I don't know why, but he just kept sending me the link to this song. But then when I would call, when I would text him, "Please talk to me, answer me, please. Why are you doing this? I just want to know that you're okay," right? The tables turned, right? And now all of a sudden I'm apologizing for what he did. And that's exactly what happens. The toxicity within narcissistic relationships is literally unreal, but it is literal because it happens. And this is one of those million moments. And so he's not giving me the time of day, he's not answering, he's just texting me the link to this song. So when my daughter asked what "Hello from the Otter Side" means, and I played this song for her, and the one I chose, I'm going to share it with you in a moment, it does share the lyrics to the song. And I'm listening to the lyrics with a different perspective, no longer with triggers, right? With now healed wounds around that relationship and such a beautiful understanding of why I had to go through that pain, and using that past pain to make it present power and purpose in my life. That's now the driving force from my life to help others heal from that same kind of emotional pain and those deep inner wounds that are had and created in those kinds of environments and relationships. So I pull up that song as I'm driving my daughter to school, and I want to share it with you because as I'm driving right through the night, just absolutely terrified. I remember getting to the gas station, I'd run out of gas. Well, I was about to if I didn't fill up, and was so exhausted. So I remember pulling into the gas station and needing to sleep, and looking over and seeing another man who was very questionable in his truck looking at me, identifying that I was alone. And so I drove a little bit further, went to another gas station, and getting out and not knowing how to like either, push the button to like open the gas cap, and just freaking out. It was about 2:30 in the morning and calling my mom, and I'm like, I don't know. I had to buy a phone charger for the car because I was like, my phone's gonna die. And I'm like, I don't know how to open the gas tank. And I remember looking up on YouTube and Google, and my mom's like, is there an owner's manual? Like, how do you, there's gotta be something that can help you figure out how to pop the gas tank. Is it like under the hood? Is it a button? Is it just a push and then it pops open? In that mental state, you can't think. And finally, after probably 25 minutes, figuring it out, filling up the car with gas, and just being so exhausted, but knowing I needed to continue on and get home and then figure my life out, right? And playing this song. So I'm freaking out, and I wanted to just share that experience. The memory came up this morning with all of that, and it truly was a memory and not a trigger. But it was so, I just felt called to share it because you've probably gone through this as well. And when you've also gone on the journey to do the deep inner healing work, like heal those soul wounds, heal those emotional wounds from the past that led you to being with someone who treated you this way in the first place, it's just such a beautiful state to be in. Hearing the words to this song this morning, I was wondering what Adele had gone through that had her write this song and what she felt as she wrote it. So I wanted to share it with you guys because it says hello, and hello is what I wanted him to say when he answered the phone, and he didn't. It's me. That's what I said when I called him. They say the time's supposed to heal you, but I ain't done much healing. So it was so interesting because they do say that time heals all things. It's absolutely untrue. It's what you do at that time that could. And I remember like hearing these words and trying to understand them, and coming from a place of hurt instead of from a place of healing, and having heard these words again today, now having healed those emotional wounds and completely moved on internally from my connection to that relationship. It's just, you're in such a different place, and you can listen back and reflect back and look back on things from such a different lens, from such a different place. And it was funny because I kind of laugh at this now, and I would call and call and call, hello, 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 because there would be times that I would call and he would pick up and then just like set the phone and not say hello back. And I'm like, hello, hello. Oh, why are you not talking to me? Will you please talk to me? What is happening? What is going on? So, hello, can you hear me? I was able to reflect back and in memory today and just go, gosh, that was me. Can you hear me? Hello. And I didn't know if it's because of that long drive that I was out of service. So I would hang up the phone and then I'd call him right back, and he would just pick up and not say anything at all, like literally just let the phone. And I could see that the call, right, was going on, the time was going, but there was no connection. It was like, can you hear me? Like, can we talk about everything, please, please? Because we're in this desperate state of wanting to understand why someone would do this to us, someone that we've given everything to, and someone that we loved so much, why they would just do this to us and what's going on. and you will never understand a narcissist because you're not a narcissist. You just won't. It is their pain, their inner wounds, their triggers being projected onto you, and yours aligning and matching with theirs, which is why you stay with them until you get to that place where you don't want to live that way anymore. You want to take your own life because of it, or you just realize if there's any saving for me, it is outside of the context of this relationship. So, hello, can you hear me? That was me desperate on the phone. Can you hear me? Please talk to me, please. And it was funny because that was literally where we were when he pulled that. And I thought, how funny. We were in California, and during that weekend, during the highs of that weekend, not the lows, but and they keep you on this roller coaster of highs and lows. We were in California. We were talking about our future. We were talking about how we were going to be married and have babies and be a family, right? Everything that I had told him I had ever wanted in my life. And we were dreaming about how we used to be. There's massive difference between you and a narcissist. Okay. All right. So I want to talk about that line. There's a massive difference between you and the narcissist, and the greatest difference is that you have emotional empathy and they lack it. There are so many similarities, though. The emotional wounds and inner pain that you feel, they also feel in their own way, from their own situations, from their own past experiences, from their own circumstances. That's where that connection is. That's the definition of trauma bond. You are bonded to the narcissist through your own personal trauma. You have got your own trauma that is still unprocessed, unhealed, as do they, and that bonds the two of you together in this relationship and in the context. And I felt like, right, there was a million miles between us. Like, and I wanted to become one. I wanted to become this union, this family that we loved, supported, celebrated each other, that we were there for each other. Clearly we weren't. There was a million miles between us, not logically or literally from Utah to California, but emotionally. There were a million miles between us emotionally, and there always will be with the narcissist. They will never let you in, ever, ever, ever. They will not let you in because that it leaves them open to being vulnerable and trusting you, and they cannot be vulnerable or trust themselves. Therefore, they never will be with anyone else. So when you're with a narcissist, you will always have that sense of longing and desperation for closeness, but you will always feel like there's a million miles between you two. All right. I did that night, and I don't know why he chose to send me the link to that song, but I must have called 1,000 times. Like literally, it was hang up, call back, hang up, call back, hang up, call back, hang up, call back, hang up, call back. I mean, for however many miles there are between San Diego and Salt Lake, it was literally the entire time because I was driving. I had nothing else to do, and in this incredible, deep, dark state of desperation, wanting to talk to him, I must have tried 1,000 times, and it was all the tears that I cried on that drive. I don't think I've ever cried so many tears in my entire life. I wanted answers. And with narcissists, you want answers. You will never, ever get them. They love when you're in that state because you're in a dependent state. You're dependent on them for the answers. And that puts them in the state of superiority and power over you because they've got the answers in which you seek, and you seek them from them. And they know that if they never give them to you, you will continue to return to them in an effort to get what you think you need. You don't need the answers, you just need to go, and you need to heal your own inner wounds. And this was the next one. And that's what it was. They leave you in that state and in that space. You call them, it's like they're not home, right? They're out. And this was like literally he just out at that time doing who knows what with who knows what, who knows where. I had no idea. And when you don't know, you're not connected, and there's a million miles between you guys. You feel this deep hurt and pain in your soul, and it longs for connection and answers. So hello from the outside. It's like you're out of that relationship, you're trying to get in, you're outside of it. It is not this beautiful union of a relationship that you feel like you're in. It's this bondage that you feel like you're in. So you feel like you're having this out of body experience, is what it felt like when I was driving home. You feel like you're having this out of body experience, and you're looking at your life from the outside going, what is going on? How did it get this bad? How did it become this way? And that's what happens. That last line, I called to tell you that I'm sorry for everything I've done. I called to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart. That is the state in which the narcissist gets you in. They give this perception that you wronged them, that what is happening and all this pain is because of you, and they flip it on you so that you will call and tell them that you're sorry for everything that you've done, and that you're sorry for breaking their heart, because they tell you, if it weren't for you then doing this, then I wouldn't have done that. And so you truly feel the pain of believing that everything is your fault, and the reason why you're going through what you went through with them is because of what you did. And so you are the one chasing them and just calling to tell, I'm sorry for everything I've done. I'm sorry for breaking your heart. Even though they should be the ones saying that to you, they put you in a position where you were the one saying that to them. And here's the thing, it does not tear them apart that they do this to you. They don't care. And they don't care because of that thing I shared in the beginning. They lack emotional empathy. They don't care. And you feel that you've torn them apart, and you've torn the relationship apart, and you carry the heaviness and the burden of feeling like it's all your fault. And that is gaslighting at its finest. That is manipulation and triangulation at its finest. They pull others in to build up this story and support their position in it, that you are the horrible one, that you're the one that did this to them. And it's just so right. So this song, right? I'm not going to play the rest of it. You get the point. But I wanted to share this from the perspective of this morning, having that come as a memory instead of a trigger. So enlightening, so empowering. I didn't know that I was going to be in a position to revisit that. And that's the way it works, especially when you have done the inner work to heal from those wounds. You're looking at things through a different lens, with another perspective, a perspective of your own healing and your own power and your own self-worth, and seeing everything that you were blind to seeing through your wounds. And that is the beauty and power of doing the inner work to transform and heal those wounds, so you're no longer looking through the lens of them. So I invite you, if this resonated at all with you, to join us in our Transforming Past Pain to Present Power, to go through that evolution and that transformation and that journey of healing and transforming those inner wounds that you have, those wounds that cut your soul, that feel like a knife mark in your soul, and to truly allow those to transform and heal, so that when the universe gives you experiences like that, right? Your child getting socks for Spirit Day, you can look at it and go, whoa, that's incredible. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because that song was the song that I listened to and bawled my eyes out for however many miles and hours it took from get to San Diego to Salt Lake City. And I didn't know I was going to receive that today, but I did. And it was so glorious and it was so beautiful. I felt called to share it with you. And I feel called to share this journey of transformation and healing with you as well. It's my life's work. It is truly my passion and my purpose. And it's exactly what you find inside transforming past pain to present power, and or exponentially healing it through one-to-one work together as well. So if you're more interested in that, you can find out how to connect through the links in the description below this video. So thank you guys. Thank you for allowing me the space to safely share with you. And I wish you all the best. Bye for now.